Well, we are back. We are back, and we're indoors today because it's too dang cold outside. It's really cold. Actually, it's not that bad for Wisconsin, but it's the end of October and we're getting a little chilly. But today, here's what we got. Now, this is what they call Duroc pork ribs. And as you can see, they've kind of left all the meat together. It almost looks like a little bit like a standing rack or like a prime rib would be, that kind of thing. So we've had this in the oven for, I don't know, the better part of an hour at 300 degrees. And I wanted to grab, excuse that bad camera angle, I'm trying to do this one-handed. Tried to do a little how-to with this thing. Let's get close and personal with the probe. And as you can see, we're at internal temperature about 104 degrees. So we're a long ways from done, as you can imagine. But this Duroc is a different kind of domesticated pig. This is about 2 3/4 pound pre-cooked. Now what we've done is we've just added a simple dry rub to it: salt, pepper, garlic, coriander, a few other spices. You can kind of do what you want with those. But then we've added a pan underneath it. Now as you can see, and again I apologize for doing this one-handed, but that pan had a little bit of pickle juice and a few other little leftover ingredients in it, like the dry rub, for example. And because we're cooking indoors, because we're cooking in the oven, and usually the oven's quite dry, we're going to add a little more water to the pan because we want to add some moisture back to this. As you guys all know, low and slow can dry your meats out. So we're adding a little bit of water to that. Now I can show you a little bit on the back here. There is a fat cap on there, and we sliced the fat cap diagonally in both directions to let the dry rub kind of penetrate. I'm going to flip it over so we can get some of that fat to kind of render down into the meat a little bit. We also use the mustard on here as kind of a binding agent, because a lot of times with drier meats like this, the dry rubs don't always like to stick. Well, we're making sure that it's got a little bit of help. All right. So again, we're about a little over 100 degrees. We've got a long ways to go. Now, obviously, when you cook pork chops and other things like that, you try to get your minimum temperature of 165 degrees for food safetiness, and that's a really good idea. But for me, today, I'm going to be shooting for about 190, 195 as an internal temperature. And the reason in part that I'm doing that, as you guys know, ribs can be a tougher meat. Okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to try to get that to that low and slow, and I think I'm going to turn my temperature down just a little bit on the oven. We'll turn it down to 275 because we've still got, oh gosh, what do we got? It's almost 2:30 my time. So we've probably got another 2 hours that we want that to cook. So we're slowing it down just a little bit. We're going to let that do its thing for a while. We'll keep you posted. We'll probably check on it in about another hour, maybe add a little more moisture, a little more water to that pan, and we'll show you what it looks like. Stay tuned. All right, so we're probably in the neighborhood of 2 hours into cooking this Duroc rib rack, if you will. It isn't like your standard ribs. I need more hands. There we go. 155 degrees on the inside, so we're getting closer. That's great. That's what we want. So we're pretty happy that it's going in the right direction. Obviously, if it got colder in the oven, we'd have a serious problem. I'm going to flip them back over again. Moisture's holding out okay. I'm going to add just a little bit more. Just a little bit more. Just so we make sure that we take care of those ribs and try to keep as much moisture in there as we can. Because we've probably got about another hour to go. So while we're doing that, we're also going to take this. And I'm being a little lazy today. So we're just making our side dish. We're just going to do some potatoes up. I've already got them cut up, as you can see. They're already soaking in the water. We put the butter in there. We're probably going to let that go in there for about 10 or 15 minutes. Until it's melted, basically. And then we're going to add some garlic, the potatoes. Fry them right next to our ribs. See how they go. But you can see they're starting to get some color. The meat's pulling away like it does on like a baby back rib or like a rack of ribs that way. These are a little different. But these are okay. So we're going to carry on and see where we end up. We're rocking and rolling.
Would you like to buy a no?
Oh, that's downstairs already. Well, gang, we're probably pushing 3 hours on this cook. We're gonna take a look and see what we got.
Oh, yeah, I'm here too.
Ooh, yeah, I got a camera person now, thank goodness. I had a little mishap with the potatoes. I tried to put them in the oven. They decided they wanted to, jump into the oven instead of just being in the pan. But that's all right. Let's take a look at what we got here.
Yummy.
So, Danielle, you probably don't know what this is, or maybe you don't remember it. This is called a Duroc rack of ribs. Duroc is a domesticated pig. It's a little smaller. It's a little this, a little that. But anyway, it's a version of a pig. We're going to check the temperature real quick on this and see what we got going on.
Does it wink?
Yeah, well, at one time or another, it probably did. So we're food safe 167, 168 right now. I'm not sure that I'm content with that temperature. And like I told you earlier, usually ribs are going to be a tougher meat. Okay? Now I'm going to turn up the oven because I want to get those potatoes done. And they're not cooking very fast. So we're going to get the oven cranked up to about 350 to try to get those moving along a little bit faster. But in the meantime, since we know this is food safe, I think I want to cut this open and show you what it looks like inside. Now, if you'll allow me to step over that way right behind you, please. I am going to grab my new friend here. You guys saw us feature this before. If you haven't, go back and watch our naked ribs that we did. No seasoning, no sauces, no nothing.
It was a scandalous video.
It was very scandalous. It was naked.
Naked.
All right, so let's see what we got here. I'm just gonna grab this rack and I'm gonna take it right over there. So again, this has our usual kind of dry rubs and things on there, and we used a mustard as a binding agent. So plain yellow mustard.
I can see the color on
Yeah, a little bit of color on there from that. So let's see what this looks like inside. If I can avoid the bones, and I can't.
Oh goodness.
Oh. Let's see what we got. This
Matt's
knife's a little
taking
small.
a bad time to want to go
There,
outside.
take a look at that. You want to sample that and see if it's tender?
Sure.
All right, let me cut a piece off.
I am ready for dinner.
Maybe we're ready for this to be done. The potatoes
Oh,
hotter than all blazes. Yeah, it came out of the oven. Imagine that.
Oh.
Tastes all right? Is it tender? She's nodding her head and rattling her teeth, so we'll assume that means that's a tender meat.
Hot.
Very, very hot, yeah. So you can see that that's cooked all the way through. There's no pink left in the middle. Now, unlike a rack of ribs, for some reason, this is a little more tender, and I think this is more like where a pork loin might come out of, perhaps, like they cut that off the ribs. So this may be a more tender piece of the meat.
Did you add salt to that? Or
Just a little bit. A little
I
bit
can
of salt.
tell.
Not a lot, just a little. Maybe a tablespoon of the whole
I
thing.
might have gotten a big salty spot though.
I think that's pretty fantastic. I think it turned out amazing.
Good thing I'm hungry.
Yeah, no doubt. Me too. I think what I'm going to do, I'll show you what I'm going to do actually. Let's do this. So I think I'm going to cut these up. Cut this up. And just to, I guess for lack of a better term, give it a little more color. Because it's too cold to go out in suntan. Take a look at that. That's amazing. I've actually never cooked this type of
Ooh, it is juicing over
It
here.
is too, and we made sure we took care of that business too. Take a look at that. I think what I'm gonna do.
What you gonna do?
I think what I'm gonna do. We got a little bit of juice left in the bottom of the pan, and that's all right.
Ew.
Okay. So because the potatoes are still going, I don't want to overcook this because then they'll get soggy. Lord knows we don't want soggy ribs. Soggy rib. We're gonna put these right back on the rack. We're gonna put them back in the oven for probably about another 15 to 30 minutes just to keep them warm, just to keep them from, they're probably gonna dry out pretty quickly. So I might just let them rest.
Let them rest.
I think I'm just gonna put them in a bowl and let them rest.
That's what I'm gonna do.
I'm gonna do that.
I'm gonna get in a bowl of
We're
rice.
still waiting for the potatoes to get done. But we'll show you what the plate looks like when we're done completely, okay? Okay. I've got everything all loaded up. I almost forgot. That's how we're serving it. We got some rice, those potatoes, which didn't get quite as crispy as I wanted, but they're done. They're good. Green beans and cut up meat. So there you have it. You don't always need to cook outside to make it taste good. Now, I prefer cooking on the grill, but I can't handle the cold anymore. Bad place to live in Wisconsin, but we're all right. Anyway, thanks for joining us, gang. Hope you enjoyed this video. Like, share, subscribe, ring the bell, and help us reach our goal of 25,000 subscribers. And also don't forget to join us Thursday nights, 7 p.m. Central for our live stream. That's everything Pokemon. So if you're not into barbecue, Pokemon the place to be. Thursday night, 7 o'clock. Till next time, gang, we cooked inside, made some pretty amazing food. You can too, so give it a try. See ya.